Okay, this is video 8 or clip 8. So we're moving up a bit now. We're going to be looking at 2-point perspective. So as the name suggests, there are two vanishing points, but we're just going to look at the position of those on your page. So what we need to do first of all is we don't want to keep the vanishing points or the position of them narrow. We want to keep them fairly spaced out. So if I was to mark on this side, and we're going to call that one vanishing point 1, and then roughly in line, you don't have to draw the line because normally it would be invisible. I'm just going to draw a faint line across, so we want to try and keep them in line. This one then would represent vanishing point 2 on the side, and then I'm just going to mark on the side there's a kind of an imaginary vertical line here where we don't want our drawing to go outside, so we don't want to put any detail in this area or in this area. It's just going to focus in the middle here. So just like in 1-point perspective, this line here, or the imaginary line between these two vanishing points, represents your eye level. So if you were to draw the object above your eye level, you'll be able to see the underneath of it. If you draw it on your eye level, you're more than likely not be able to see the top or the bottom. And if you draw it below the vanishing point, you should be able to see the top of it. The size will depend upon where you kind of position it along this horizontal line. So in this particular drawing technique, there are only a couple of rules to remember. The first one is there are vertical lines, which are these ones. There are no horizontal lines, so you can kind of forget those for now. And then there are diagonal lines which go back to either vanishing point 1, or they go back to vanishing point 2, or they go back to both. Okay, so the important thing to remember is there are no horizontal lines in this instance. So if we get started, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to position just some basic construction. We're going to draw a vertical line above the two vanishing points. I'm going to draw one on the eye level of the two vanishing points, and I'm going to draw one randomly below. Okay, now the tops of and the bottoms of each of these vertical lines, I'm going to send them directly back to the vanishing point. So both the top and the bottom go back to vanishing point 1. And if I line them up with my ruler, I'm going to send the top to vanishing point 2. I'm going to send the bottom to vanishing point 2 as well. If I repeat the process for the others as well, remember now we're getting to a stage where you don't really need to draw the line all the way back, just make sure your ruler lines up with it. And the same on here, so I'm lining up, try and be as accurate as you can with this. So I'm going to send this one back to the vanishing point 2, and the same with this one, I'm going to send this one back to vanishing point 1. The bottom goes to vanishing point 1, and the top goes to vanishing point 2, and the bottom goes to vanishing point 2. So remember, in the first instance when we're drawing 1-point perspective, these diagonal lines represent the depth of the object. So what we need to do is, let's say if we tackle the top one here, we need to decide how far back into the distance it goes to this vanishing point. So anywhere along these two lines, you're going to draw a vertical line. And again, on this side, we need to decide how far back it goes here to the vanishing point. So again, just a vertical line on the side. All we need to do then is, you can see because it's above the vanishing point, we can see the underneath, so we're missing some detail here. So we need this point and this point. So this point is already tracking back to vanishing point 1, so it must have to go to vanishing point 2. This one is already tracking to vanishing point 2, so it has to go to the opposite side to vanishing point 1. So if we just line those up, so if I send that one across, so that one goes back that way, and this one lines up with vanishing point 1. So there's our cuboid constructed, so we're looking at the underneath. This one, because it's on our eye level, we decide how far back it goes with a vertical line, and then we decide how far back it goes on here with another vertical line. But because of its position on the eye level, we cannot see the top and we cannot see the bottom. This one, however, because it's underneath, we should be looking at the top of it. So I'm going to decide how far back it goes on this side with a vertical line. Mark that top because I'm going to need that one. Decide how far back it goes on this side, so keep this one narrow maybe. Mark it there. So this one is already tracking back to vanishing point 2, so it has to go to VP1. This one is already going to VP1, so it has to track to VP2. So if I use my ruler to line that up and send that across. So you can see now we've got 3 cuboids drawn in 2-point perspective.